This presentation, titled Planning for an Audit, a Time Management Process, comes to us from Donna Stockwell. Donna is a well-qualified professional engineer and a certified lead auditor. She's helped teams at all levels of the organization understand what makes a good quality organization overall, as well as the individual requirements to make it happen. She also trains team members in a variety of ISO products. And with that, take it away, Donna.
Thank you, Mike. And thank you for joining me. I feel that in these new normal times, we want to limit our exposure with anybody that we aren't usually exposed to. So I thought I would make a little bit of a virtual checklist for you, and you can spend a lot less time in front of the other people. So this is me. I'm Donna Stockwell, and I've been doing auditing and training for many, many years. So this is kind of a little bit of a sum up of everything that I've seen. So generally, there's 4 different phases of auditing: preparatory audit planning, the preliminary planning and development of audit plan, and preparation of planning memorandum. And I challenge anybody to say that 10 times fast. So the purpose of planning, of course, is so that we are both on the same page, the auditor and the auditee, for what's going to happen, who's going to be present, how long it's going to be taking, when it's going to start, when it's going to end, when we gather together, different people that we talk to, and so on. So you want to have all of these ironed out as best you can before you walk into the door. So we've got 3 different principles: an integrated approach, continuity, and planning optimality. So let me just explain a little bit of these, and this will help us plan a little bit better. The integrated approach is when you are very close, the auditor and the auditee are very close with all of the different planning stages. What is going to happen? Is it going to be the full audit of the entire plant or the entire group of plants? Is it going to be one specific area? And then the schedule of the rest of the areas as it goes on. Continuity is if you just have that plan and you go in and you just take that subset of the complete audit so that you can finish up, or you can redo some area where someone was away or in a little bit of a dilemma that they couldn't help you out with finishing the audit. Optimization is, just a little bit of when you are going to do things, you might help the person in the plant help with doing the audit. So you say, okay, I'm going to talk to these 4 people because they're in different shifts, and this is how we're going to make it a little bit easier for both parties. So the first thing that you're going to do is decide what kind of audit it is. So when you decide that, you're going to know what documentation you're going to need from the auditee, any kind of standard operating procedures, work orders, any kind of timelines or schedules, anything that you wanted to see. Of course, the minutes of the meetings, any corrective actions, anything that's open as well. Any of the planning and schedules of the audits, so you know that they are being done, any contracts or agreements. So if there's a third party doing certain areas and you want to see that, yes, they're in compliance. So for instance, if they're doing some environmental, that they do have their ISO 14001 certification and that it's current, and so on and so forth. The internal audit reports, again, with the minutes of the meetings and the corrective actions, you might want to do more than 1 year. So say the last 3 years, or if they're just new, obviously, just the last time they've done it. So to show that they are understanding the process and that they are able to do these things. And then the organizational structure. So then you'll be able to tell who you're going to talk to and how big everything is. And so in tandem with these sources, these documents that you're going to be asking for, you're going to want to know how big the actual facility is that you're going to be going through. So if it's, 1,000,000 square feet, that's a lot of time just to go from one area to the next. So you want to allow for those types of things. So that's part of the communication, is once you have a list of everything that you'll need, you're going to be communicating that to the person that you're going to probably be meeting at the first, and they're going to be coordinating at their end. So for the sake of this discussion today, we're going to say that their name is the auditor manager. They may or may not be. So with the auditor manager, you're going to say what you're going to be doing, how long it's going to be taking, and you're going to coordinate any kind of scheduling of when the audit is going to start and when it's going to end. You're going to let them know how many people are going to be coming, because if it's a large audit, you're going to need more than just yourself, obviously. And then if you put together a little schedule of what areas, then you can talk a little bit more about what's more convenient for them, so that they can set up and they can be ready, and it's not hindering their work as much as possible. So you're going to want to put together any kind of questionnaires. So this is especially good for anyone who's new to auditing. They have the questionnaire, and it's going to be a fairly standard question, but this is a good start with, what are they going to be, what do they do during the day? What are some emergencies? What are some quality checks that they do? How do they know that they're doing them? Who do they report to? Where does all the paperwork go to? So these are standard things, but if they're all there in the questionnaire, then you can put the auditor can put a star beside any extra notes that they want to put down if there's subsequent questions to these things. And then after all of these questionnaires are put together and filled out and gathered, then you can put into a summary report. So if you have a template for that, you might want to get that all together as well. I find them very, very useful. And then if you have a summary meeting at the very end, then when you put all of these reports into the template, then it's very easy to show on the screen, and you can see, very easily. Now, having said that, you don't want to, there's no surprises, right? So you, as you're talking about any kind of problems with the person on the floor, you're going to also relay that to the person that you're talking to, so that they can let the manager know if they need to come in. And I found a lot of times too, that when you're talking to these people and you say, I really need this report, or could you add this? They usually have it done by the time you're finished, and you can report, and then you can wrap it up, and there's no extra time that you have to come back for a follow-up. So that's all important to do as well. So what's in your audit bag? So if you bring your computer and bring your own extension cords, because you don't want to wait to talk to someone who talks to someone who has to wait for maintenance to finish up to bring you the extension cord. And again, if it's a very large facility, it might take a little bit of time. So bring your own things, and adapters too. So if you're going to do some kind of slideshow, then make sure that if you have, like, for instance, I have a Mac computer, I always have to bring my adapters to go into the HDMI cables and things like that. So you don't want to have that time lapse again. So what we're doing here is we're reducing the time required. And again, for everybody, in the plant to continue their jobs as best can. Bring any kind of pencils and papers, and your clipboards for your questionnaires that you can talk about. The other thing that I like to do before I get there is turn the computer on. All your documents are pulled up already. So I've seen some people where they have a big production where they bring everything out and then they have to power it up and then they have to look for, so we're talking, sometimes 15 or 30 minutes. And this is time that, you could be working and getting everything done and then leaving the facility as well. So again, we're talking about how important it is to be limited time on site. The other is the routing on the GPS. So I made this mistake myself. I had 2 GPSs. I put it into the one and then I put it into the other one. So when I put it into the first one, I knew where I was going, but I didn't memorize it. But I used the other one in the car, and the other one in the car didn't have the actual number, and I was at the other end of the road. And that is, again, another, could be 20 minutes or so. So make sure whichever GPS you're using to use it. So when you get on there on time, it's a happy time for everybody. It's not delayed. Also, when you're talking about the communication from stage 1, you're going to ask about the entrance to the facility. Is there some kind of protocol that they go through? Bring your own PPE, any kind of documents that you have to read and sign. Is there a certain person that you have to call and then they can come down? So they might have their own extension or they might have just someone there at the front door. So again, every facility is very different. So when you're developing this a program, these are all things that the auditee should know ahead of time, So the first thing is to build the trust. So if you're not saying, oh yeah, but I was supposed to ask this, and it was something that they're not expecting, and I don't know why they wouldn't be expecting it, because you're just talking about their average everyday work anyway. So if they don't know if the person that's being questioned doesn't know the answer, just move on to the next one. You can come back with a secondary similar question that will give you the same answer. So, don't make it very tense for the person, because they're going to be very nervous as it is. So when we're preparing the planning memorandum, again, these are all the dates, the agenda, who's going to be coming on site, and then any kind of understanding, like you understand that you're going to bring your own masks for COVID and your own PPE and what's going to be supplied to you and things like that. So if everything is in writing, then, and this has happened to me before a few times too, where someone who is hosting the audit is away on vacation or personal emergency leave, then somebody else has all the information there that is required. So, again, we're really honing in on the time. The other thing that you want to do after you send the agenda is to call them a day or two before and just reconfirm that everything is fine and that there's been no changes. And you're going to do it again as soon as you get there, because there might have been something happen the night before or that morning before you get there. So again, is there going to be any changes? Is there going to be any changes? So just to sum up very quickly, when you're prepared and you've done all the planning, you want to limit your time on site and be efficient as possible. And really, isn't that what the ISO products are all about? Organized is highly rated and very, very highly recommended, and it will make you look very professional. And I just want to thank you for your time. And with that, we'll bring it back to Mike.
Well, thank you, Donna Stockwell, for that look at audit planning and time management. And that concludes this presentation.